So that's a photo of the guy you're hearing talk. I've been in the lighting industry about 15 years myself. Joined Cooper just over 7 months ago in this national role. Very exciting for me. A great resource for yourselves. I plan to come in market 3 to 4 times a year. So if you see value in that, let your Max 2 contact know that you'd like to see me when in market or see product or anything that I can really help benefit you in writing and maintaining your specifications. So prior to Cooper, I worked in lighting controls, and before that, I worked for a downlight manufacturer. So pretty familiar with lighting, pretty familiar with controls. Like to think of myself as a good holistic one-stop shop for your questions in lighting and lighting controls. A bit about Cooper. I'm sure you guys know about them, but we are now part of Signify. About 5 years ago, that acquisition happened, and as a result of that, we are the largest lighting manufacturer in the world. So really exciting to work for a company of that size, for myself and my teammates, and I'm sure for Max 2 partnering with us, it really unlocks a lot of tools, a lot of customization we can do. If you don't see it on our cut sheets, do not be remiss and ask your Max 2 contact. There's a very good chance we can do a lot of things outside the box. On top of that, though, we really take pride in being an innovator in this space, right? A best-in-class company. And part of that is really moving the industry forward. You'll see, as we talk about this, having an IP66 outdoor rated fixture that allows it to be from -40 to +40. It takes a lot of innovation to allow for those temperature swings and things of that nature. But really, we take a lot of pride in our optics with all of our products. I'm sure from your familiarity working with Max 2, what really separates us is our optical control. To that point further, right, legacy of innovation. We've been around a very long time, always looking to grow either via our own innovation or acquisition. And just so some of you are aware, going live, we have just recently acquired a new brand, Nemolux, which will unlock a lot of new spaces for us as an organization. So always trying to become a one-stop shop for you and our business partners. Something I think is really important to stress during this presentation is our pride we take about the innovation and patents. As you can see here, we have over 20,000 patents. When I went to head office for onboarding, there's walls of these plaques. Very, very proud of them, and we will defend the patents. So if you're really into our products, really into the technology, let us know. Really proud. You'll see this as we talk about this product through the presentation. We have some patents when it comes to the one-way gasket letting out water vapor, other components of the product. So take a lot of pride in moving the industry forward. But not only that, as you can imagine, by having a lot of different products, a lot of different brands, it really unlocks a lot of different markets for us, right? We like to play in almost everything. One thing that I would highlight today, what you're learning about, is a really good product, obviously, for outdoor applications, being an IP66 rated linear, but don't sell that short. We've seen a lot of interior applications where it makes sense. Actually, Max 2 has gotten some aquatic centers or clean rooms and labs, things of that nature. So always keep your mind, I think, open and not just closed, thinking it's IP66, it's for outdoor. There are some applications interior where it makes a lot of sense. As I talked about earlier, that we're a company of brands. We're almost an agent within ourselves. These are all the brands. Like I said, when I come to market, let me know if there's one in particular you want to focus on, or the MPI, but a very well-rounded collection. But what I want to focus on today is going to be Neoray. Okay, so Neoray is our architectural linear offering. You'll see we have different products within the brand, right? But today we will focus on Neoray Torrent. So this is the product that we'll be focusing on. It did launch in August of 25, but we as a company sometimes we'll take 3 or 4 launches at a time and kind of do a nice big rollout with our partners. So actually this product is going to be rolled out next week to our agents, and they will actually be having a sample like the one you're seeing that they can bring around and show you and whatnot. So it's been specifiable since August, but product and a big launch will be happening in about a week's time. But again, like I said, we'll learn about Torrent, but please don't close your eyes. There's a lot inside of Neoray that's worth talking about, right? We have other products like Covera, OmniCirc. Back to my earlier point, really take a lot of pride in optics. The Covera has our wave stream, which allows for edge lighting with no glare. It's really, really impressive. The Omni and Circ, we can have, fully lit surfaces or louvers, things of that nature. Honestly, for anyone who's listening, black louvers are pretty amazing. The light doesn't even look like it's on until you put your hand or something underneath. Really cool technology. Again, going back to the story, I'm telling you that we take a lot of pride in our optics. But what I want to show you today is the Neoray Define Torrent. And as you can see here on this photo, I think this photo, I've been told by my internal colleagues that this is the one in Canada I'm supposed to use, which is a little rude. But all joking aside, guys, what I think's key in this photo is that you can see that the snow is on the back of the fixture, really hammering home the story that it's IP66, that it can be even suspended outdoors without concerns. From Nova Scotia to BC to Nunavut, anywhere in the country, we can have confidence installing it. A big thing about this product, right? So I'm going to spend the next few slides kind of pointing out a few of the points that we like to kind of focus on. A really big part is bringing the outside in or inside out. We've designed the product to match our traditional Neoray Define. So if you're familiar with that product, which I hope you all are, that'd be our indoor linear that can do absolutely any shape you want, lit corners, up a wall, across the ceiling, then suspended, then back in the ceiling. It's our everything linear. So what we've done now is we wanted to expand that and take it to the outdoors. And we've done that by, at launch, making it the exact same to the 10th of an inch as our Neoray Define 3. We are looking to have matches to Define 2, 4, and 5. If that's something you're interested in and familiar with what I'm saying, just let Max 2 know. We can look at doing some sort of customization. But these other nominal sizes will be launching over the next year or two as well. But as you can see, very seamless, designed to look and work together as one fixture. Another big thing of this is I keep saying IP66, right? This is a really crucial part of this product. As Chris alluded to, we've been asking for it for 10 years. My very first meeting with Max 2, we booked a meeting 2 hours later to talk about outdoor linear. So I know this is something that your market has wanted and needed. I'm really excited to present it to you. What you can see here, and for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot do, but I'm just going to explain it for those who don't, is IP stands for ingress protection. So the first number deals with solids, dust, other particles that can get into the product, and there's a scale, right? So 4, 5, and 6 we're looking at today, right? As the number gets higher, how the tolerance goes down substantially, right? So with IP4, it's effective against 1 millimeter dust. IP5, dust protected. IP6 dust tight, right? You can see how it's getting more and more robust. And the second digit when you talk about IP has to do with liquid ingress protection. So 4, 5, and 6, again, no harmful effects of splashing water, no harmful effects of water jets, and then no harmful of power water jets. We take a lot of pride with the 6.6, and I'll explain why you would need that level on the back end, the second 6, right? That's the number I think we're most concerned when we have an outdoor rated product. You just want something at this level so that you can ensure that it won't fail over time, and things of that nature. Okay, guys, so when I talk about this IP rating, how it happens is the actual engine, so the component in the middle that you're looking at, that product is IP66, okay? Well, the housing is IP56. And we have to do that because what everyone wants, sadly, is kind of impossible with the temperature range we have in Canada, right? Everyone wants a fully lit surface with no cuts in the lens that can go from -40 to +40. Sadly, just physics gets in the way of that existing. So what we have to do to allow for such a large temperature range is actually allow the lens to expand and contract. So we can have our lens up to 8 feet long. You'll see that on the next slide. And then we'll put cuts in the lens to allow for expansion as it gets hot and then contraction as it gets cool again. That is why we separate the IP ratings, right? We want to make sure the engine, the electronic component will be protected in any situation. Whereas the housing, we needed to have a little less, so the 56, because with that lens opening and closing, your next logical question will be, won't dust or maybe bugs or some other substrate get up in the fixture? So that is a concern. So we allow the lens to pop out very easily, and a pressure washer can go right in and clean out the product. So that's why that second, the ingress protection second 6, is so crucial, and why we decided to separate the engine from the housing when talking about IP rating. Okay, so that's how it works. But not only that, with the housing, you can see here, and you'll see at the end, we take a lot of pride in making it a spec grade, not just in optics and output, but in the look. So it's fast and free, really clean, nice product on the ceiling. So this is what I wanted to show you about the lens needing to be cut up to 8 feet. We can do a minimum length of 2 feet and then go on in perpetuity. One thing that's really cool, you'll see in a second, is what we do to allow for the expansion and contraction. We have that patent I was talking about in a second. But before I get into that, I just wanted to stress to you guys, everything we've been looking at has been like surface mount or suspended, but this product can do a lot of other things, be recessed, perimeter wall. Again, it's kind of our catch-all linear family. And this is the product I was talking about, one of the patents. So on the end cap, we have a patented spring mechanism that we're actually putting a video together that came out of the presentation with Max 2 a few months ago, where they were very interested in this technology and wanted a way to present it to the specification community. So we're actively working on that. But what happens is as the lens expands, there's going to be torsion put on your end cap springs. And essentially, once the lens contracts again, it will push the lens closed. We believe, using math, that at 60 feet, linear straight runs, we'd have no problem closing. Keep in mind, Cooper as a company is very conservative. So if you designed the numbers I'm telling you, you can have complete confidence. Obviously, the number we think might be slightly larger, but I want to give you numbers that if you work and design around, you can have confidence will work. So the number we put out to market and that you should design around is 60 feet, but that's pretty robust when you think about reclosing that lens. I wanted to bring it back to this slide again because not only is the IP rating quite important in the design of the product, but the optics, the light leaving the product is a very high quality. As you can see here, circled at the bottom it's 1.5 macadam ellipse, all the light leaving this product. And for those who don't know, a little crash course on what a macadam ellipse is. So the easiest way I can describe it is when like a human eye can perceive a difference in color, right? The higher quality manufacturer you're working with, the higher quality product you're working with, the tighter macadam ellipse you're going to have, and then you can ensure if you did a 40-story building that the light on the first floor and the light on the 40th would look the same if they were put side by side, right? So really important, especially when you're working on a spec grade project with a spec grade product. So we take a lot of pride that 1.5 macadam ellipse is very, very tight, much higher than the industry standard, and can give you the confidence that the quality of light leaving this luminaire is of the highest quality. But like we can say here, you can see here is a real application here. It's installed, I believe, in San Diego, but you can see the product really clean. It was a nice pattern design. That 1.5 macadam ellipse really on display. But I want to just tell you, like we've talked about the science of the product to some degree, but with our spec grade families, we've taken a lot of pride in making them fun and funky, right? We've always been able to make any product, almost any color. But unless it's on the cut sheet, it seems to not get spec'd that way, right? I think you and I, we've all seen it, right? Black, white, and silver seems to be the only fixtures for a very long time. But if you want to add a splash of color, add a splash of personality to your projects, we do have these standard offerings. You can see those the Cooper architectural colors that you can pick right off the cut sheet. Or if you'd like, we can do custom RAL or custom color matching. So a lot of different options, for the luminaire itself, but also on the stems, things of that nature, right? I've seen some manufacturers and even some of our products, right? You might have a black housing and a white wire. Maybe that's not what we're going for, right? So we take a lot of pride here on our spec grade families to ensure continuity across the product. One other thing I'd really like to point out is this is the sample case that Max 2 will be receiving in about a week's time. Inside the sample case, you're going to see that we're going to come with a one-piece version of the Torrent. Your next logical question might be, didn't you say that the 2 feet is the shortest you can sell? That is the case. As you can see, to make the sample, we had to cut into the housing a bit, so it kind of hurts that ingress protection rating. So we can't really sell it at this length, but it's a great product to be able to show. We can energize it. I would get your Max 2 contact to pop off the lens. You can see what's inside, take it off. Or if you'd like as well, we very easily just take off the end caps with a little pressure switch at the top, everyone, and you can just see, right, the steps we've taken just to clean up the facade of the fixture and make sure that you guys don't see any of the screws or any of the tools or anything of that nature. You can also, while this is off, take a quick little look. That is a one-way gasket that we've put on this product. Because one concern some people have when you start saying you have a cut lens and an outlet-rated product is there's some concern that what happens if water do get up into the fixture. One, it could burn off from the sun or burn off from the light being energized. But what we've done by having the one-way gasket is once the water droplets are vaporized, they can leave the product, not get back in. You're not going to have that look that looks like, a glass shower once you leave. None of the dots of water or condensation lying around. Last thing you'll see here as well, in the sample case is we're just going to give you a sample of the rod. You can see that we can do rigid if necessary, or we have an adjustable rod if you're working on a substrate that isn't parallel to the ground. I just want to throw this here as kind of one of our marketing type slides, as you guys can kind of see at high level, kind of points out the benefits that I've been telling you about, but also shows it compared to competitors out in the marketplace. I like to say why I'm good, not why others are not at the same level. So I like to just leave it as competitor, and you can just kind of see where we kind of step up, right? It's matching the aperture is very important to us, and having lit shapes and bends and turns with all surfaces being lit is very important to us. So those are kind of the areas that we focused on outside of what we covered today. And again, I just like to hammer this part home. I'm a proud Canadian, right? I've lived in BC. Actually, I'm from Nova Scotia predominantly and live here in central Canada. There's snow everywhere, guys. So it's really crucial to us that this product can work in our marketplace.